Hey, Soul Warriors. Have you ever wondered why spiritual awakenings seem so profound and mind blowing at first, but then become more subtle and quieter over time? In this video, we're going to explore the natural progression of spiritual growth, starting with those massive aha moments when everything feels new and revelatory, to the more nuanced micro shifts that happen as you integrate the lessons and tools directly into your being. I remember when I started out and everything was like new and shiny, and I was like, ooh, this rock and this deck of tarot cards, and just constant ahas. But I think it was just because I was so excited and such a higher vibration that I had been at the beginning. And then when things started to unravel, I was like, ooh, I have to look at myself. I have to look at my past and my traumas and my pains. And I don't know about this. Let's look for another shiny tool. Yeah, that's great. But it starts chipping away at everything. And then, fast forward to now being like a seasoned spiritual human being here. Sometimes I'm like, I think I'm stuck, or I think I'm feeling stagnant, just because I haven't had a huge aha moment in so long, not realizing how subtle and quiet things get as we start to really incorporate this stuff like to be who we are.
Yeah. For me, it was a little different.
Okay.
Because growing up, I was guided a lot by the unseen.
Right.
So I had like this knowledge that I didn't know what the hell to do with it. And it felt like I was already in my spiritual awakening, if you will. So for me, it was more of as the different modalities came up, that's when I got excited, because I didn't know, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. I can use this tool to do this. I can use this tool to do that. And that was the excitement for me at that time. And then when I really got into the nitty gritty, the real hard stuff, which was looking within, figuring out why I was so angry, forgiving people that I needed to forgive, forgiving myself, things like that. That's when it got a little bit difficult, and I got a little bit more of the, why. I got into the whys a lot.
Yeah, I got into whys too, or how.
And the unseen was quick to tell me that is not something that I need to entertain. Because they say stick to being whole, stick to your knowing, stick to your sovereignty, and the whys won't matter, because they would say, not that you have to, but remember that you came here to experience certain things.
Right.
So asking why is you saying you're not understanding or you're not knowing when you do know.
Right.
That kind of
You're
stuff.
not remembering that you chose to come here and play this game to experience these
and
things.
And that these people contracted with me to play certain roles and things like that. And that was the difference for me. That's when my questioning came into play, and they were quickly to gently nudge me in a different direction, which was cool. But I still went through the process, as a human being, existing in this realm. You're gonna go through things.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that was my thing.
Yeah, I realized when I started to feel really stuck and stagnant, I realized because I was literally stuck in the cycle of the what's broken and what's next for me to fix and how do I go deeper and get better. But then I didn't recognize that I was sitting all the time looking for new pain, looking for new learned beliefs that I could, bust and feel good about myself, because, I recognized that and I was able to navigate through it. And I also didn't realize that my tools, instead of like, ooh, new shiny tool, it was like they just became part of me. The tools that really worked for me were just, as easy as like just automatically breathing or automatically knowing how to walk. So I wasn't getting huge ahas because I was just doing it on autopilot.
Right.
And then I was like, wow, I'm not really celebrating a lot of things that I could be about myself, because I'm not even recognizing the progress I've made. When I was walking, kind of contemplating all of this, what I was shown from spirit was, it was like, I'm here in my house right now, and I've decided to go like the next state over. And I get in the car and I flip on the radio and I'm vibing. I'm like, yep, I have a goal. I'm going to this other place. And then I start to get to the other place and the radio starts to get kind of fuzzy. And then I get there and it's like, only every 10th word I can maybe make out. But if you have old school radio, if I turn the dial slightly, and I can, probably dial that in just a little micro shift, and then I can hear it full on again. And so I was like, sitting with that and watching as it was, kind of playing out in my mind's eye. And I realized, okay, sometimes they are just micro shifts now, because at the beginning, you didn't know yourself at all. You didn't know these tools at all. You didn't know, how to talk to your mind, your body, your soul, how it all worked together in concert, and what all the tools were yet. So you had a lot to unravel there. Once you've unraveled all that and you're like, oh, that's my, I don't know, teacher issue there popping up, or that's because of that past, accident I was in that this is popping up. You can recognize it really quick. So I wasn't getting that. And then I was also thinking about the whole driving analogy is like, okay, I'm in a new place now. So maybe I can't tune into that radio station at all anymore, because that's not my frequency. Because I have a new goal and I've created new things in my life. And even if I haven't recognized aha moments that I've been getting deeper into myself, I have, because that's naturally who I am. So is this an old frequency? I just need to like bless and release, because it's not serving me anymore, and anchor in, where am I now and how does it work here? And, whole new world. That's where my excitement is. That's where my new aha moments are, because I'm discovering about a new goal or a new place or a new thing I'm creating.
I remember that the times where I felt like nothing was happening, or that stuck feeling or anything like that, they were quick to remind me is because you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times we forget that when we're in it, we won't feel the things that we're normally feeling, because we are in it and the work has been done and you've gone through the other side. Like you said, you're now in a different frequency, but yet we're still looking for the same feelings, the same types of shifts, the same things like that. But when you're sitting in your middle ground, in your power, and in the basis of your essence, it will feel like you're doing absolutely nothing. But in fact, it means that you're traveling so freaking fast that you can't even feel yourself moving. And only when you get to that side is when you'll feel that sudden stop.
Yeah.
Because when you feel that, that means that you've now entered a different layer, something else that you need to work on, something else that you might need to just experience, things like that. But we forget that when we feel like there's nothing happening, or that we need to do something, or that life needs to whatever, it's because we're traveling so fast, or we already arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to acknowledge that and live in that and experience that, because there are lessons there too, or just simple joy.
Right.
Because that's the good part. So
I heard somebody say the other day that when we're in it, like especially at the beginning, where it's like you're thrown into the deep end of the pool, or like in the middle of the ocean, and a boat just pushes you off and drives away, and you're like, this is a lot, and it's hard, it's deep, and it's cold, and it's everything. And this person said that, even if you fall in the shallow end, you're still going to get wet. Even if you just stomp in a puddle, you're still going to get wet. Like, so things that don't seem scary, like taking the first step into a pool or walking through a puddle, they don't seem like a big deal, so we don't even notice them, because hey, it's raining, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the difference between the beginning of being in the deep end to now is just a whole different ballgame.
When you said being in the deep end, I just automatically went to that place where I used to be afraid of things like that, because I didn't know how to swim, or my it's not that I was afraid of being wet or being in the ocean or in a pool. It wasn't that. It was the control factor that I couldn't feel the bottom for me, and that was a fearful thing, you know. And when I learned to swim, I'm no like Olympic swimmer or anything, but when I learned the basics, I realized one thing is that it wasn't so much about the controlling where my feet would land, but about allowing myself to know that I can float, that I can be, that I can enjoy it and be in that moment and still be okay.
Yeah. Allowing yourself to be supported by the water.
Exactly.
Instead of afraid that the water's going to drown you.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty cool. And since then it's just like, okay, I know that if I might not be able to swim, but if I find myself being in the deep end where I can't touch the bottom, flip over and float.
Yep. And just
and enjoy and pretend I'm
coast
like,
along.
You know, have a nice drink, that kind of stuff, and that's how it worked for me. And it was a big shift mindset for me. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
So be aware that you're going to start to embody this wisdom. I mean, most of you watching this probably know a lot, or if you're at the beginning, at least you'll know that this is this is the end goal. The end goal is not to, amass the most amount of shiny tools and, be able to, speak the big spiritual words to everybody. Like, not the goal. It's to really be happy in yourself and to fully embody all the wisdom that you have at your fingertips as a high spiritual being.
Right. You are the tool. That's the thing. It's nice to have the tool bag, because it makes us feel safe, or whatever feeling comes up by having that toolbox. But imagine when you automatically or all of a sudden become the tool.
Mm-hmm.
There is no need for anything else. You are it. And this is how we're designed. And we forget that because we need to experience certain things. But when you arrive to knowing that you are the tool, that you can do whatever the heck you want, create whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Right? Yeah, I'm super witchy. So, I mean, I used to have all the things and light the candles and do the whole full-blown rituals and all that stuff. And then I realized these are just conduits to help to get me to focus my energy and focus my intention. And when I got really good at that, I didn't need those things anymore because I could just do it naturally. But a few weeks ago, I woke up and I'm like, oh, I need to go, get this color candle and do this and that and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm going back to Witchy 101. But understand spiritual awakening cycles. You'll revert from stages 1 through 5 and back again over and over. And we'll actually link the 5 stages of spiritual awakening in case you want to know those and see where you are. And you can be in multiple at once. Yeah. You'll cycle around. Sometimes you'll be at 5 on one topic and one part of yourself and back at baby 101 kindergarten step with other, new things that come up, new pains that you can explore.
And please understand that it's okay.
It's all
not
okay.
A setback.
Yeah, no, it's not like you get to
okay.
5 and you've won the video game and go you and you're a badass.
It just means that in that particular situation, you need to go back to the basics so that you can understand what happens next.
Yeah.
It's
always keeping it simple and going back to the basics. So the more laps you get, the better, because the more practice you are, and that's how you evolve. That's how you get quote unquote higher. Right. It has nothing to do with first place to get to stage 5 type of thing.
It becomes automatic for you. Like when situations happen, you don't even think about it. It's a kind of like a knee-jerk reaction that you will have, and in watching you do the work like that, because I haven't seen you work like that in a long time.
Right.
It was really cool to watch, first of all. Or I wasn't watching you, but I was feeling the energy shift in the house. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that energy. I remember this, and then when she does that kind of work, her eyes change too. So I got to see that, and the in the room in which she did it, when I entered that room, is like, whoa. It was like, oh boy, it's like really like not like a smack in the face or anything, but you knew you walked into some serious freaking power.
Yeah.
And it's a source of her. So we got it.
We got it. And I mean, and then I was like, okay, I need these candles, looking up my old places to see what time they're open. They're all closed because I haven't been to one in I don't know, probably 10 years now.
Right.
So I'm finding all these new places and I'm like, all right, well, that one's the closest. So, but anyway, I ended up having to go to 3 different places. I met the most amazing people, got to have amazing spiritual conversations, which, you know, with neighbors and stuff like that, you don't often get to have. So it was really filling. And then I learned a lot talking about them too. So it filled all different parts of me. And then I came back and I was able to reconnect with an old friend who had some information on what I was doing. And then that just like amplified it. And then I actually went and did the work and was expecting one thing and something totally different happened. And then I finished the continuation on the second day and the thing happened. Like as soon as I stopped expecting it and realized I had applied an expectation to it, and I was like, okay. And then just, it was super fun to me. I'm like, oh, I remember this back in the day, and, you know, building an altar and all those things. And it just lit me back up in a different way. And then I realized how much more powerful, how much more progress I had made with me, because I was able to focus in a whole amplified new way that, you know, sometimes you need that physical thing to show you again, just to remind you, to remind you.
And also to remind you that connections that you made, that you're not by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of the times we feel alone. Like, you know, am I the only, you know, witch? Am I the only, you know, energy person? Or we forget that we're not. There are a lot of us out there, because we're all pretty equal in this kind of magic, you know. So it got you to realize that you're not by yourself. They're still out there. Those botanicas might be closed, but there are still people out there doing their thing and doing their magic and practicing and being in their power. You know, just to give you that feeling. It's still happening. It's happening.
It's happening. And the very first store I went into didn't have what I needed, but I saw something else and I was like, I don't know anything about that. And this is what I'm focused on. And then, so I asked if they had it, because they were very common, simple things I needed. And she's like, no, I don't know why, we always do. Like, and I'm like, okay, I just need to pivot then. So I went back to where my energy was pulled, but it was something somebody else had created. And I usually create all my own stuff. But I felt really pulled to it, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to do it. And then when I brought it up, I got all this background on it and was able to latch onto the energy before the work even started. The work starts the moment it comes into you. But, and it was just like, okay, yeah, I don't have to do this. I didn't have to go through this whole consecration and like all the different steps. Like, it was already done for me, and I could just go in and do like what I needed to do.
Exactly.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just me. That's just all of us, actually. So how do you pivot? How do you use tools and then test yourself by doing something else, doing it different, embodying it, being just naturally all of you, and not judging any of the cycles, because it's all good. It's all perfect. It's all exciting.
Right.
It's all us.
Yeah. And remember that you're not alone.
Never.
We're all doing it in our own way, you know. So hit us up if you need a little help or a little boost or anything like that.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know where you're at, what you're working on. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. That's it for us, right?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Be kind. Peace.